Have you ever noticed how emotions rule our lives? One moment you are overflowing with love, joy, and gratitude, and the next you are caught in anger, jealousy, or fear. It almost feels like we are made of contradictions, half light, half shadow. But what if I told you both come from the same source? Love. Not the romantic kind, not the poetic kind, but the very essence that moves all life. The pulse behind every heartbeat, the force behind every tear. Yes, love hides behind everything you feel. It gives birth to kindness and compassion, but it also disguises itself as anger, pain, pride, and even hatred. Because when love is misunderstood, unexpressed, or rejected, it doesn't disappear. It transforms into what we call negative emotions. And today, in this video, we are going to explore this hidden dimension of love. How even your deepest wounds and darkest emotions are simply love trying to find its way back home. Let's go deeper. Friends, we often think emotions like anger, greed, or fear are enemies. We try to fight them, suppress them, or escape from them. But fighting emotions never works because you cannot fight love, even if it has worn the wrong face. The truth is, every emotion begins as love. Love is the raw energy, the life force. When that energy passes through the narrow tunnel of ego, attachment, or desire, it becomes distorted. Think of it like clear water flowing through a dirty pipe. The water is still pure at its source, but what comes out looks muddy. That's what happens inside us too. Love is the source, but as it passes through our ego, past wounds, and expectations, it loses its clarity and begins to appear as fear, anger, or insecurity. Let's look deeper into the most common negative emotions and see what form of love they truly are. Number one, greed, which is love for abundance. Greed is another face of love. It is love for abundance, love for security. But when the heart closes and fear takes over, abundance turns into accumulation. Greed says, if I just get more, I will finally feel safe. But love says, I already have enough and I want to share. So greed is not your enemy. It is just your love for life lost in the illusion of scarcity. When you trust that life is generous, greed transforms back into gratitude. Number two, anger, which is simply love for perfection and control. We get angry because we care, because we want something to be right, fair, or perfect. If someone you don't care about does something wrong, you stay calm. But when someone you love hurts you, anger rises. So anger is love for order, for justice, for perfection, but without patience and understanding. It is love trying to fix things, but doing it in a violent way. When you breathe deeply and look beneath your anger, you will find care. You will find love, frustrated, but still love. Third emotion, fear, which is love for safety. Fear too begins as love. Love for life, love for safety, love for continuity. You fear losing what you love, your family, your dreams, your body, your reputation. So fear is love holding on tightly. But here is the paradox. The more tightly you hold, the more you suffer. Fear tries to protect you but ends up imprisoning you. When you understand that nothing truly valuable can ever be lost, fear relaxes and love breathes again. Fourth negative emotion, hatred, which is love turned upside down. Hatred is the most misunderstood emotion. It is not the opposite of love. It is love that has been wounded. You cannot truly hate someone unless you once loved them or expected love from them. Hatred is love twisted by pain. It says, I cared, but you broke my heart. When you forgive, that twisted energy strengthens itself. After forgiving, the hate dissolves and love shines through again. Fifth emotion, anxiety, love for stability. Anxiety is love wanting everything to be alright. It is love for peace mixed with fear that peace might break. When you are anxious, remember, your heart is just caring too much. Guide that care gently toward trust, not control. Because love and trust are twins. Without trust, love becomes anxiety. Sixth, lust, which is love for the body. Lust is not evil. It is just love for the body, but without awareness. When we forget the soul and focus only on the physical, love becomes lust. Lust wants to possess while love wants to merge. Lust consumes, love nourishes. One is temporary fire, the other is eternal warmth. When you bring awareness to lust, you will see it's not about the other person's body. It's your longing to connect, to dissolve, to return to wholeness. It is love, but tangled in the senses. Number 7. Guilt, which is love for doing right. Guilt comes when you love being a good person. It is love for morality, for values, but mixed with self blame. You feel guilty because deep inside you care. You want to do right, to live with integrity, but guilt turns that love inward and punishes it. If you replace guilt with awareness, it becomes responsibility. You stop judging yourself and start growing. That is how love matures. Eighth, depression. Love turned inward. Depression is frozen love. It is energy that has stopped flowing outward. Maybe life disappointed you. Maybe people hurt you. So love turns inward, folds into silence, and becomes numbness. But even in that darkness, the seed of love waits. The moment you start giving again, helping, caring, creating, that love begins to flow and light returns. Ninth, resentment. It is love that expected something. Resentment is love that kept a secret score. You loved, but you also expected. And when those expectations were not met, pain turned into bitterness. Real love gives freely. When awareness returns, resentment melts into understanding, and the heart becomes light again. Here is the 10th negative emotion, sadness, love that lost its object. Sadness is pure love that has nowhere to go. When someone dies or leaves, your love remains, but the person is gone. So love floats inside you, looking for direction. That heaviness, that ache, it's not emptiness, it's overflowing love with no receiver. If you allow yourself to feel sadness fully, you will notice it's tender. There is beauty in it. It is love remembering love. 11th, pride, which is love for the self. Pride begins as love for yourself. It's healthy to feel worthy and valuable, but when ego enters, self-love becomes self-importance. You start needing to be better, higher, more special than others. And in that race, real self-love is lost. True love for self is humble, not proud, because it knows it's already whole. And finally, number 12, insecurity, which is love for future. Friends, you care about what will happen. You love your life so much that you want it to stay safe, predictable, and successful. But the future is unknown. When your love for control meets the mystery of life, insecurity is born. The cure is not to stop caring, it is to replace control with trust. Because when you trust life, your love becomes freedom, not fear. My dear friends, every emotion, whether light or dark, is simply love passing through a certain lens. The lens can be clear or cloudy. When the lens is ego, love becomes distorted. When the lens is awareness, love remains pure. You don't need to fight your emotions. You need to understand them. The moment you see anger as misplaced love or fear as protective love, you disarm it. Awareness transforms emotions faster than any control ever could. Because when you understand the message of emotion, it no longer needs to shout. Even neuroscience supports this. All emotions arise from limbic system, the emotional brain. The same brain circuits that trigger love also activate fear, anger, and attachment. The difference lies in how those circuits are interpreted by your mind. So biologically too, love is the base frequency. Other emotions are just variations caused by perception. Love is the default setting of the human brain, but experience, trauma, and ego distorts it. Meditation, awareness, and forgiveness reset that setting back to love. Now, the most important part, how we can transform these negative emotions. Let's make this practical. Whenever you feel a strong negative emotion, don't suppress it. Just pause and ask, what is this emotion trying to protect or express? Which kind of love is hidden beneath it? For example, if you are angry, maybe you love fairness. If you are jealous, maybe you love connection. If you are afraid, maybe you love safety. Find the love beneath it. Once you see the hidden love, the emotion loses its power. That is emotional alchemy. You don't destroy darkness, you simply turn it back into light. Friends, every negative emotion is love wearing a mask. The mask may look ugly, but beneath it lies something sacred. The journey of self-awareness is not about suppressing emotions, it's about seeing through them. And when you look into yourself, you will find you were never broken, only love misunderstood. Thank you for watching.